All right, everyone. Thank you for registering today for the DB25 Power Through Crop Stress discussion. Thanks to all of you that are able to make this live. Just so you know, this is being recorded, and you'll get a copy of this recording emailed to you in the next couple days. And it'll also be on our website in a couple days. So if you lose the link or the email, you can always go to dakotabio.com, go to our products page, click on DB25, and there'll be labels, tech sheets, and webinar recording. And check out our other products too. We have a lot of great products. So my name's Steve Visted. I'm with Dakota Bio. And we're going to talk about DB25. So it's a new, unique product from Dakota Bio. It is patent pending since just before Christmas. So we're very excited about that. And that makes it a unique ingredient and product in the marketplace that is not found anywhere else, just from Dakota Bio. So we're going to talk about what is it and how does it work, and we'll dive a little bit into the science and then bring it back around with just real world agricultural agronomic info for you to relate to your own farms and your own lives. And let's get started. So thank you very much for joining, and here we go. So DB25 is technically classified as a biotech antioxidant. So what that means is it's a biotech because it is an essential enzyme needed by all living organisms that is only produced by specific types of bacteria. So you cannot get this enzyme from nutrition or food or anything like that. It is only produced by bacteria. It is an ROS scavenger, and we'll dive into that a little deeper in a moment, but it's classified as an ROS scavenger, so it is protecting your mitochondria against ROS, reactive oxidative stress. It has been found to be 100 times more efficient at combating stress than isoflavonoids, which are the current category of products in stress mitigation and stress recovery in the agricultural market. So, as I mentioned, ROS, reactive oxygen species. So what that means is ROS is an oxygen molecule that's unstable in a plant that is produced under stress. So different types of stress that cause ROS are pollution, soil salts, heavy metals at toxic levels, biotic stresses such as pests and insects and disease, light stress, temperature stress, drought stress. And that's where we really focus on a lot of our research, is the heat and drought stress in row crops, mainly corn and soybeans, is where our research currently and has been, expanding into other testing. But heat and drought stress is a major contributor to yield loss on all of our farms. So when ROS is produced, it is produced by plants that are under stress, that are encountering these environmental stresses that are listed here, and it is causing damage to the mitochondria and the chloroplasts in the plant cells. Mitochondria are in the chloroplasts. Mitochondria convert nutrition to energy to fuel all the functions inside of a plant. So when your mitochondria are damaged, your nutrient efficiency goes down, and your yield goes down, and your plant health goes down. And if ROS goes too far, you are damaging the plant visibly, and death to plant cells, and even then on to death of the plant. So DB25 is completely focused on delaying that damage to the plant from stress. And if the stress continues, it's about helping that plant recover from stress. And in less stressful conditions, it's about producing more energy and fuel for the plant's growth from the nutrition. So you're getting more out of your nutrition to feed and fuel and grow the plant. So let's talk about corn for a minute, and let's talk about heat and drought damage. So we've all seen corn that turns a little gray, the discoloring under heat and drought stress, the curling of leaves, that spiky top is the symptoms of heat and drought stress. This is all caused by ROS, and damage is done before it's visible to us looking at the field. So when mitochondria are damaged, they are not converting nutrition to energy for plant growth. That holds you back in the rest of that plant's life. That is a yield limiting factor. So DB25 drastically delays that cell damage and that mitochondria damage, and also helps repair the mitochondria after the stress passes. How it does this is through the output of the mitochondria, mitochondrial fusion, we'll discuss that in a minute, and just increased energy production from your nutrition. So, a little deep dive into the science here. Over here on this side, this represents a mitochondria, which is in all the chloroplasts and all the plant cells. This is where nutrition is consumed and converted to that energy to just fuel the plant in growth. When stress occurs and ROS is produced, mitochondria become damaged. And what they have the ability to do is to push that damage off to the side, because they have this ability to protect themselves, to try and continue life, to prevent and delay death and damage. So what this is called is fission. Think of fission as division. It's pushing that damage off to the side, and then mitochondria have the ability to split off that damage and shed the damage. It's like a form of quality control. It gets rid of the damaged part of the cell to protect the healthy part of the cell to continue consuming nutrition and producing energy and to continue life. But the output of this smaller mitochondria after fission is lower than a larger mitochondria before damage, before ROS. So we are delaying the damage, which delays the fission, which delays the results of stress on your crop. Now, what it also has the ability to do is mitochondria can do what's called fusion. If you have two of these smaller mitochondria, they're smaller because the damage is expelled out and discarded, they can fuse together to make a bigger, higher functioning mitochondria. But then you would have fewer mitochondria than before the stress occurred. So DB25 is delaying fission and increasing fusion. So your plant is withstanding stress, showing damage, less damage to stress, and healing and recovering from stress and damage at a much better rate than without DB25. So we have done some greenhouse testing, and because the results are more visible, and it's hard to grow corn to yield in the greenhouse, and we have much better control of the stresses in a greenhouse. So sometimes a greenhouse is used to shield your plants from stress, But in this case, we're inducing stress to show the effects. So what they do is they take two flowers that are the same. They water one flower with DB25 in the water and water the other flower with just water, and it's equal amounts. Then they turn off the water and wait for the signs of stress to appear. This picture was taken after 4 days. You can see the water that, or the plant that just had water, the wilting and the causes of heat and drought stress. The production of ROS causes the wilting and the leaf curl and the droop and the damage to the plant. If this keeps going, that flower is going to die. The plant that had DB25 in its water, you can see how this is still a healthy, active, very good plant. So let's talk about corn again for a minute. So there are many crucial stages of corn that go into your end yields. We've all heard the line of in a bag of seed corn, there's 1,200 bushels of potential yield, and some people use different numbers, but it's a very, very high yield potential. We never achieve the maximum potential because of stress. Stress does nothing but reduce yield. So when your corn plant is between V3 and V5 stages, it's determining that early in the season the length of your cob. After V5, all the way up to V12, it's determining the girth. So it's, are you going to have a short cob? Are you going to have a long cob? Are you going to have a 12 round cob or a 14 or 16 or 20? It all correlates back to yield. And when stress occurs in these stages of life, you're reducing that maximum cob size. So the better your corn plant can resist stress, delay the harmful effects of stress, and recover from stress, you're able to maximize that cob size. Then we get into pollination. Stress during pollination reduces the number of kernels on that cob. This all yields up to achieving your highest potential yield. So as long as we can delay the harmful effects of stress, recover from stress, that is how we are increasing yields with DB25. One of our independent research farms that does a lot of testing for us, so they did a test on DB25, Phenom, and B4. This year they had 7 weeks with no rain in July and August. They showed very high levels of stressful, visible stress, and the DB25 got a 4 bushel increase. The Phenom did very good too, but that's a different product. You should check that out. That's a nitrogen fixer from Dakota Bio. But under stress, that plant is respirating less and fixing less nitrogen. B4, another wonderful product from Dakota Bio, got a 6 bushel bump. That is a phosphorus solubilizer. So excellent products, excellent response. But in their report, they said this. So they use Haney soil testing. So they are testing the available nutrients and the soil health in the growing season in treated versus untreated corn. DB25 and Phenom had significant increases to soil biological activity. This was accompanied by increased water extractable organic carbon. What that is what they're saying is they are measuring the carbon sequestration by using DB25 and Phenom. So any of you that are participating in carbon programs and carbon payments, DB25 is an excellent product to help increase those programs and to increase your plants and crops' ability to delay the harmful effects of stress and recover from stress and increase your nutrient efficiency and yields. So to summarize the agronomic benefits of DB25, you're increasing that energy for plant growth. You're increasing that nutrient efficiency, getting more out of your nutrients, your N, your P, your K, all the micros. Increasing the stress tolerance and recovery, and increasing carbon sequestration. So we'll switch to talking about the operational benefits of DB25. DB25 is a very easy product to use. It can be used on all crops. As we said earlier, it's not a living biological. So that leads to very easy storage, long shelf lives, easy tank mix compatibilities with herbicides, fungicides, liquid fertilizers, can be applied in furrow or foliar. So when you are mixing with herbicides, fungicides, fertilizers, you should perform a jar test just like any other product. In our testing, we have found no mixing incompatibilities. We also take our testing to the next level where we test the efficacy of herbicides and fungicides and fertilizers. We don't want to bring you a product that just tank mixes well. We don't want to reduce the performance of the other products you're using. So we have tested that. So you can feel confident in adding DB25 to the tank, and you're not going to have a problem in the sprayer. You're not going to have a problem in the nozzles. You're not going to have a problem with your weed kill and your disease prevention. So very, very easy product to use. As I said, it can be applied in furrow or foliar. Foliar applied can be applied at any growth stage, but a very important part to this is if you apply DB25 after the stress has come and caused damage, we can't change that. DB25 needs to be in that plant and affecting the mitochondria before the stress occurs to bring your benefit. Now, when you apply it, you're going to have future stress. So you're going to bring benefit after application. So you want to apply this as early as possible. So in furrow is applied in the furrow with the seed touching the seed. Foliar, the best time to apply foliar is your first post-emergence herbicide pass. We do most of our testing applying foliar at V3. We've tested it out to tassel, and we see great benefit and yield increase at both. But the best result is applying it early to prevent the most stress before cob length is determined, before cob girth is determined, because we want to have the biggest cob and reduce stress during pollination to produce the most kernels, to produce the most grain, to produce the highest yields. So early is better for foliar. The in-furrow rate and the foliar rate is both 16 ounces per acre. It's packaged in 2 cases that treat 40 acres, or a 275-gallon shuttle that treats 2,200 acres. So yield data from our research farm. So this is after 3 years of trials across 11 states. So we've had, on corn alone, we've had 47 different trials. These are all replicated anywhere between 4 times and several dozen times. It just depends on the research farm, whether it's strip trials, plots, or what have you. But this is literally hundreds and hundreds of data points to come up with these averages across all the Midwest. And so DB25 has a 94% positive yield response. So that means it's out yielding the untreated check right next to it 94% of the time, averaging plus 8.7 bushels per acre corn yield. which in our testing across all these locations comes out to a 3.7% yield increase in grain. The economics of it, it's a 4.6 to 1 ROI. So at $6 corn, DB25 is on the average bringing an increased net profit of $41 per acre. Soybeans, 31 trials, replicated hundreds. So there's hundreds of data points in here, replicated many, many times across the research farms. 90% positive yield response, averaging almost 2.25 bushel per acre. So a 3.4% yield increase, coming in at 2.6 to 1 ROI. So at $13 beans, that's a net profit increase of $17.75 per acre to the grower. So to wrap it up quick, we have many different products from Dakota Bio. We have Phenom, that's a nitrogen fixer for all crops. B4, that's a phosphorus solubilizer. And then as we discussed today, DB25. DB29 is a soil biology biostimulant, soy 30, and all of our other legume inoculants. So there's a few questions coming in on the chat. If you have questions, type them in. I'll click the chat here. Okay. How does ROS differ from PGR ethylene production? So ethylene is a precursor to plant stress and does cause damage, but ROS is different. I can't give you an exact scientific definition of the difference, but we'll look into that, Gerald. We'll have a discussion on that. Great question. Ben has a question of, have you stacked DB25 with other products like B4 and Phenom? We are starting to do some of that testing. Most of that stacking in multiple products has been done by customers. But when we are paying these and hiring these independent research farms, we're looking for one variable to collect data on product performance. So we're starting to increase that in our budget and our testing, but we don't have a lot of independent data on the stacks. But we are getting good feedback from customers, and particularly those two products. So it's good that you brought those two up, B4 and Phenom. So Phenom, as we said, is that nitrogen fixer. It is an endophyte, and when a plant is stressed, particularly drought stress, the stomas close, because that stoma closes to prevent and reduce water vapor loss. So when the stoma closes, the endophyte that's in Phenom is fixing less nitrogen under severe drought stress because that stoma is closed. Stoma needs to be open, air from the atmosphere needs to come in. So it looks like it's going to be a really good combination with Phenom. B4 on that topic, that is a brute. That one works under the widest ranges of conditions, a lot like DB25, very highly effective product under many different conditions. So B4 is increasing the availability of phosphorus, so you're getting more nutrition into that plant. So stacked with DB25, we suspect we'll see really good data stacking it with B4 because of the increased nutrient efficiency or nutrient supply from B4. Another question. Tank mixing with PPO works to offset emergence issues or foliar bronzing in soybeans. That is something we have seen a little bit in our testing. So research farms are trying to avoid issues with bronzing in soybeans, but we have seen in earlier testing, that's really how where we first, it was our very first year of testing. It was up in North Dakota. We had a research farm put some test strips in a field, and they rented that portion of the field from another grower. Long story short, the majority of the field was beans with dicamba tolerant seed. Our beans that the research farm put in were not dicamba tolerant. And when the field got sprayed with dicamba, there was extreme damage, and the DB25 treatments in our soybeans fared night and day difference, and much better than all the rest of the tests. Saw a really good yield advantage compared to the untreated. So that was one of the very first signs of the power of DB25, because when we go through these product development stages that takes years, and the scientists are all trying to tell us, the ins and outs and the science of these products and technologies, and many of them never make it to the market. But when we start, we do a greenhouse test, and we do a growth chamber test, and then we do a small field trial on our own internal research farm, and then it starts going into these independent research farms just to get these multiple years of data. And it starts small because it's extremely expensive. But that one really was extremely noticeable and really got our attention. And now 3 years later, here's DB25 as a product. Any other questions? Okay, I think that's the end of the questions for now. So I want to repeat, thank you for joining us, and you'll get a recording of this emailed to you. The recording will also be on our website in a few days. So you can always go back and check it if you want. And of all the people that registered, even the ones that couldn't make it live, we will be doing a drawing for a free case of DB25. So one of you will be getting an email from us in the next day or so. So feel free to check your email, see if you're the winner. And I'll be getting a hold of the winner and getting you taken care of. So thank you very much. And ask your agricultural input, wherever you're going to buy your products for your farm, ask your dealer for DB25. Give it a try this year. Thank you very much.